everyone, Bernie here from Stampin'Up. Welcome back to my craft room this week, and I hope you've all done or all had an amazing week since we last caught up. I am super excited, I always am, to be doing this infinity card with you. You know, I made an infinity card probably 15 years ago, and I haven't made one for a very long time. And they're quite cute. Have you seen them? They go like this and like this, and it just keeps going and going and going. So you might be wondering, how on earth do I make this card? Well, it's not that hard, and I am going to be dropping a link below in the description for you to download the PDF for this. So feel free to help yourself to the free PDF. But for this one, for the purpose of this video, I'm actually not going to replicate this. I am going to, and I don't know if I'm brave or just plain stupid, going to be winging a different color combination and a different everything. So I'm going to be making it on the fly with you. So let's hope it works. Let's hope it works. But what is going to stay the same is that I'm using the Stars at Night stamp set. And oh, I can go and get my catalog. I always video ahead of time, so I forget where I am. So the mini catalog is now live, so I may open this and show you. So I'm going to be using these papers from the Shining Brightly series, and I'm going to be using this Stars at Night, the bundle. I'm using the whole bundle. I'm going to be using the stamp, the embossing folder, as well as the dies, as well as the adhesive backed star trinkets, and these are all on page 15. So the measurements, as I say, are all going to be in the PDF for you, but I think we need to get started because we're going to be here for a little while. It's not terribly hard to make this, but it does take a little while. And I just want to go and grab my paper trimmer because we're going to need that as well. All right, hopefully I've got everything ready. Okay, you're going to need some cardstock, 6 by 6, cut at 6 inches by 6 inches. You're going to score it at 1.5 and 4.5. You're going to do that for both pieces, and because I am using the Shining Brightly Designers Series paper, I've gone with Very Vanilla and Night of Navy. Now when you, let's just set this aside, when you bring these pieces in, you need to make sure, I didn't do it this way the very first time. I cut them first and then I checked it, but this is easier. Oops, that's not good. You want to, let me just clean that bone folder. Sorry guys, I'm just looking for my wipe. Let's grab a new wipe. Alright, let's just clean this bone folder. It doesn't look very happy. Okay, so you want to make sure that they just touch. You don't want them overlapping at all. So if that means you just have to wiggle your scoring, then that's what you do. And then the same for this one, for your other piece of paper. Just fold it and fold it. Okay, so once you've got them that they're just touching, then you are going to cut it on the length side at 3 inches because it's 6 inches by 6. We want it in half, so you'll cut that at at 3, and cut this at 3. Okay, and you can set your paper trimmer to the side All right, now we need to decide which ones are going to be on the top and which ones we want on the side. And I think I'm actually going to go this way. I'm going to put, let me think about this. Hold on a minute. I just want to get the original, because when we turn this and turn this, no, I do want the dark ones. So let's go back. All right, so no, we're going to do the dark like this, and we're going to have these guys on the side. Okay, now where are we placing our tear and tape? We are going to place our tear and tape over here, so the top corners and the bottom corners. So these top panels, there and there, can you see my crosses? And then the bottom. Okay, we're not putting any adhesive anywhere else, because everything else is going to become a moving part. So let's put some tear and tape there first, and I'm just going to turn it upside down because I work best putting my glues from left to right. And I'm going to put two pieces right up next to each other, but not overlapping. And be careful, this mustn't go over that fold line. So if it does by mistake, then we will just fold that back. Okay, so same story where you see those X's. All right, so that's the top, and we'll do that first. Okay, so lift it up with my take your pick tool. Fold back any glue that is there. Now I am bringing in my contrast color, and I'm making sure that I am butting this up right up to the top and the side, leaving that now for now. And now I'm going to adhere the bottom of that left hand corner. Like so, lifting it up with my take your pick tool. Okay, just making sure this folds in. We don't want any glue. And I'm just turning this upside down again, and I'm bringing in this piece of the Very Vanilla, and I'm butting it up. I just want to make sure it's in there without getting my head in the camera. Okay, so now I've got this first piece, and now I've got my glue there, and I can put my adhesive on the bottom here. Okay. Once again, just making sure that's not sticking over. Oh, yep, and do this piece, the top one. Okay, and now I'm bringing my tops, making sure this is in. Just make sure that bottom one is touching, because you have to make sure they're perfect. Okay, there we go. So this is going to become the fold. I'll just give these a nice good burnish, and that's going to turn over. Fantastic. And we come back to the beginning. Great stuff. Now we're going to start our decorations. So on this one I had some stamping and I had some embossing. So your squares, they're all going to be, the measurements will all be there for you. I've already done some embossing in the Very Vanilla. So I'm going to adhere that onto that panel there. And then this plain panel, I'm just going to, I want to see if, what have I done with it? Oh, yeah. I want to see if I can, I was going to say that's not going to work. All right, we'll just do some stamping on that. So I'm going to take copper clay. So first of all, let's put some glue on here. And that's going to go on there. So like I say, I don't know what this is going to look like. I have not done this in advance, this particular design. I'm doing this with you guys for the first time, so hopefully it works. So I'm going to take some copper clay and I'm using the star stamp on my rubber mat because it's a photopolymer. Okay. Nothing like being brave and doing something brand new on camera. It's almost like alive, but not alive. Okay, so we're going to go here. And now I'm going to be bringing in some designer series paper. And again, all those measurements are going to be on the PDF for you. Oopsie, that's gone skew. All right. Okay. Now I am going to do some embossing. Over here, I did it on some of the designer series paper, and I've done the same thing here. I've pulled through some of that Oh Holy Night designer series paper, and that's the background of the what's supposed to be the desert. So I'm just going to emboss, if I can find it, the same sentiment, which is wishing you a bright and the best and brightest holiday season. Stamping that up in my Versamark. So this is just a way, oops, let's just pop that on the mat quickly. This is just a way that you can see a really clever way to use designer series paper other than just designer series paper. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to pop some gold. Let's just get that out the way. Some gold embossing powder over this. And I might just do one extra coat. I always like to do two, just to make sure. Fantastic. And I'm going to heat emboss that now using my heat tool gun. So let's just do that. So if you haven't done heat embossing before, you just want to make sure that you are melting and moving the heat across the powder until you see it change, like you can see now in the camera. Great. Excellent. And I'm now going to use the dies in the bundle to die cut that. So let me just get my die cut machine. Move this all out the way. So I'm bringing in my Stampin' Up cut and emboss machine. Getting that in there. I'm just going to use a post-it note just to make sure that it doesn't move when I move it. And just roll that through. Fantastic. All right. Release that on the die. And now I've got this beautifully embossed sentiment that I can now pop over here. And I'm going to just let it go over the edge, like so. Okay. You could, of course, I haven't tried it, but you could, of course, try putting it on a dimensional. I think that would look beautiful, having that height to it. But I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Okay. So now we're going to flip this over, and we've got two center panels in here. Now in this one, I stamped the stars and I did a message in there. So we're going to do the same. And I'm just using my Very Vanilla once again. So I'll just bring in that Very Vanilla and copper clay combination. So bring the copper clay back, and I'll bring my stamp back. I've had to interchange them quite a bit because I've just about used every stamp in this set. Right, let's just take this guy off because I've used him now. So I'm doing the starburst over here and another starburst over here. Great. So that can be glued to the top panel. But before we do that, I want to show you how I did this wishing you the magic. Because if you look at the stamp, it's quite long. But you can see I've split it. So what I did, there are 6 letters across. So I only took the first 3. So celebrating the magic, I just inked that. So just delicately put that on, the ink on there. I turned my cardstock at an angle and held down the stamp. Release. Now make sure you really clean off that stamp because you don't want it transferring, which it accidentally did on the first time I made it. And now we're doing of the season. So again, I'm just bringing the of the season onto the ink, placing it underneath. Great. Transferred through there a little again. So what I did was I just brought in these little stars and I inked it up and I put them there, so I didn't notice it that much. And again, just turned it and inked them there. Great. Okay. Just want to move that all out the way. And now I can come in with my craft sheet, silicone craft sheet, and I can adhere these guys down. And I'm just using liquid glue for this. Okay. I think the copper clay is actually a good choice of color. Now I'm going to put in little squares, and I'm going to be putting in some rectangles into the colors. So we'll need 4 of those. Over here. I love this Shining Brightly paper. I think it's so pretty, and there are so many different projects you can use it for. I've almost used up my entire sheet because it's a real favorite. So you could put some more blue in there, or you could put in, I'm just looking, you could put some Very Vanilla in there too. I might actually go with the Very Vanilla. So let me just get my paper trimmer back. Like I said to you, I am winging this while I'm doing it with you. So I just want to get those measurements quickly. So how much do we need? We want 1 1/4 by 2 3/4. So that is, let's just cut this. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. Hopefully that's going to be big enough. 1 1/4 by 2 3/4. Oh, I think it's exactly right. Perfect. All right. So let's pop those in. I think that looks better. So let's put the Very Vanilla in here. It's fun to be doing this with you as I'm seeing as it builds, because I wasn't sure when I was starting it off, like I didn't want to repeat the colors. I didn't want the same one. Okay, that looks great. Now we're turning it over. Aha! This is a fun panel. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be putting in these 4 guys over here. All right, so we can glue that. And then we've got another fun section to do. Super fun. It's like, it's called an eternity card for a reason, because it just keeps going and going. I think I made one for my husband many years ago, and I think that was the last one I made. So it's been a while. It's a good card to use up your scraps. Okay. So what are we going to do here? Well, I've got 2 pieces of cardstock, Very Vanilla, and we're going to, I just want to show you, when I open it up here, I have stamped this stamp across them. So let me show you how I did that. First of all, I placed them right next to each other so that they were completely together. And then I used a post-it note. You really need to, there we go. And I flipped that over. Then I brought my stamp. I just want to get that set up. My big stamp with the star. So I've set that on up. And I'm going to use my copper clay once again. So inking it up in copper clay. And then you're positioning the star in the middle of this stamp, of that piece of cardstock, well, the two pieces of cardstock really. Okay, there we are. Just moving that out the way. And then you're just going to peel this off and glue those into the center. I'm really starting to like the look of this card. In the center, keeping those level at the top and the bottom. And now I'm going to be bringing in some bling. And the other one I die cut. The, oops, I'm moving it. Do be careful when you glue them because the glue moves. Right, I'm going to be using some of my star trinkets. These adhesive-backed star trinkets because they're gold. And I'm just going to use my take your pick tool and place 3 on either side, just randomly, just to give it a bit of interest. And there are 2 different sizes of these trinkets, so you can choose which one works for you. Okay. All right, so now we turn it one last one. And in this panel over here, I had Merry Christmas and I had those 4 pieces. So let's do the 4 pieces first. So I'm just bringing in the Night of Navy Designer Series paper. All right. And the last thing that I need to do, so the one is going to be left blank, so we can put that one in. And then the other one, I just need to put Merry Christmas. So let's just do that last one, saying Merry Christmas, which I'm trying to find. Okay, and we'll stick with copper clay because it seems to work really well for what I'm decided. So we'll go Merry Christmas at the top. And then I've got these little guys, these little stars. And I'll just pop it underneath, directly underneath. Like so. Right. And then this, of course, you could also put any adhesives on here if you wanted to. But I didn't. And that goes on there. So I'm super excited now to see what this one's going to look like when we start. Okay, let's have a look. So this is the front. This is the inside. See how those become the sides? Isn't that amazing how this works? Oops, that turns like this. And it turns again. And it just keeps going. So there we have a gorgeous eternity card featuring the Stars at Night bundle, and I really hope you've had fun watching this and that you're going to go and give your own combination a try. This was Boho Blue and Night of Navy, and this was Very Vanilla and Night of Navy. So that was me for this week, a little longer, but I think well worth it to give a very fun fold card a try. Remember, until we meet again, to stamp, eat, sleep, and repeat. Bye!